Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today is second day of JavaScript in DDCDP 23, and we are going to study functions. What different types of functions are: objects, arrays, how to manipulate arrays, some flow control, if and else, and ternary operators, and for loop. So let's dive in. So I have created two files, functions.js and functions.html, and I am linking. So just to test if everything is working fine, normally you can use alert or console.log. So alert is a bit more. So testing, and if I just open it in browser, if there is an alert, it would mean it's working fine. Good. Okay, so types of functions which we can use. Let me just zoom it in. The simplest one is which the function keyword and then the name of the function. So for example, I want to create a function which adds Janab to a person's name. Okay, so what I can do, I will call it Janabais, right? And then a parameter will be passed to it, which is name or full name or whatever, and then the opening bracket and closing. That's right. So this is called function definition or declaration. Is this fine now? So what it will do is a variable will be passed into it, and it will do something with it. So we already have discussed what return values are. Okay, so return the full name plus first it will be Janab, then full name. So what we can do is plus and full name, and if we add space also, so this is fine. So whatever name is passed to Janab's function, it will return Janab and then the name of it, right? So for example, now this is known as function definition. Now we are going to call it. So to call it, we'll just run Janab's and then the name. Since this is going to be a string, so we can use strings, and for example, Wasim Akram, who was my favorite player. Okay, so Janabais Wasim Akram. What is going to be the output of it? Yes, but we are not catching it. If you are returning something from the function, you have got to catch it so that it is available in. So here we can use let or const is let new name is equal to this. Now we can console.log or alert this or use this variable wherever we want. So let us console.log it for now. New name. Is this fine? Now if we refresh it and open console, it is Janab Wasim Akram. And similarly, again if we run it, we can even directly run console.log Janabais and then the name, so Wakar Yunus, and then the end. So what will it do? Janab Wakar Yunus. You got it? So this is normal definition of this normal functions, right? The second one is we can use the same. Let us call it Mr. Eyes. Okay. So const the name of, just like variables. So you define a variable and then assign a function to it. So const Mr. Eyes. This is going to be a function, and then you are not going to write any name here, just like here we did. Okay, So the const Mr. I is equal to function, and that's it. And again it will have a an argument parameter. Okay, so const Mr. I is equal to this, and the same we can copy this for now, and it will return Mr. full name, right? And now if it is called the same way just like any normal function, this one, so Mr. I's, and we will pass it some string. So for example, Shehbaz Sharif. But again we can call it directly inside console.log also. So what are we you going to expect in console? Mr. Shehbaz Sharif. So you got the point. These are two ways of creating functions. Is this clear? Any confusion? So this is Janabais, it is directly function and then the name of the function. But here we can use let or const, a variable just like any variable, and then this one, const Mr. I is equal to function, and then we are not going to write any name here of the function, and this is the parameter, and then we are returning it. Is this fine?
Yes.
Good, Shabas.
Assigning function to variables.
Exactly. So this works exactly like the first one,
Yes,
but it has slight differences which we will cover in a while. Okay. So the right side of it can be called an anonymous function, but here it is being assigned to this variable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The third one is anonymous function. Here we have to assign it so that we can call it, right? But there are times we will once we are into events, we will know how we can pass anonymous functions to events, add event listeners. Okay. The third one is, which is newer one, like 2016 or E16 version of it, which is called arrow functions. So arrow functions, how many of you have used arrow functions? And this is very much in this type of functions is very much in these days, so that you don't have to type a lot of stuff, right? So for example, we have to rename this one function Janabais, okay, and use arrow function for this. It is actually 3 lines right now.
Yes.
So if we are going to use arrow function just like this one, where we use const Mr. I, the same way we can use arrow functions. So const Janabais 2, for example, is equal to, here this is it starts with these small brackets, then arrow, this is arrow, equal to sign and greater than sign, and then the normal brackets. So this actually we are skipping this function call. We have changed it with these two, then equal to greater than sign, and then the normal brackets. So for example, it will have a full name, and here we will return, rather let us use alert for it, alert Janab. So it is text, so it's Janab string plus full name. So this is actually the same stuff, right? So we can call now Janabais. Janabais 2, and then pass it Wasim Akram. and it is Janavasi. It works the same way. So how it is structured, just we will create a variable, const or let or whatever, and then two small brackets. This shows this is going to be a and this arrow key shows this is arrow functions, right? Okay, one thing, if we pass two parameters to this function, then these two brackets are important, otherwise even we can skip this. So full name, arrow, and then the brackets. Again, if this is going to be one liner, just like this is just one line, okay, so we can move it to the top like this, and that's it. So, okay, so, and remove this one extra. Okay, so this is one line, again this is one line, so these brackets are not important. And again this is working fine. So if you compare this with this version, Mr. Eyes or this one, these are 3 lines, and this one is just one line, and we don't even need this. May seem confusing a bit at first, but then you will get used to it. Okay, so this is just one line. Also we can use return now, just like we did it before. So sorry, I'm doing it the wrong way. Okay, so if you have got to use explicitly some return here, just like here we are using return, but if it is a one line arrow function, so you don't even need to write the return statement. Okay, so I have removed the and even these brackets are not important now. So after the arrow you don't need to write return. It automatically sort of would mean that this is going to be a return, and then this is being concatenated with the full name, and if we just check it, it is now returning. Okay, so if it is returning something, we can just alert sorry, this was fine, but we can wrap it, we can directly alert it or store it inside a variable. So this is still working fine. Is this fine? Any confusions? Actually now just in one line or 2 or 3 words you are doing the same stuff which you did here. Okay, so let me repeat how we did it. You will make a variable Janaba is 2, just like any variable, then the first is equal to, the first one is the parameter, just like here we are using parameter, so we didn't need these two. If this is going to be one, then you don't need to have, you can still have small brackets around it, but that's not important if it is going to be one, just one. And then the arrow key, sorry, then the arrow key, and then any some statement, JavaScript statement or assignment or whatever. So this is, we don't need to write return even here. Okay, if it is going to be one line, return, it automatically means this is return. Is this fine? Okay, the fourth type is they are called immediately invoked functions. Immediately invoked functions. function. The last one is, I'm forgetting actually. Iffy, they are called iffies. Let's immediately function expression. So they are in short they are called iffies. What? Iffy, this one. Okay, so right now, for example, we are defining functions in all of the three types, and then we will call it. Okay, so each time we are going to call these functions. But for example, for some reasons I need a function which immediately gets called also. I define it and then I call it as well at the same time. So this is actually we are going to study scope in a while. So for scope related, so that in one function, so that your code doesn't get out of scope, or scope doesn't clash with other variables. So this technique is used, and this is used in Drupal also. So normally you are not going to use it, but just so that you know what it actually does. So how is it? For example, I'm going to create a function which alerts something, okay, and immediately. So what I will do is these two brackets, and then this. That's it. And here you pass the parameters, and here you are going to have your normal whatever. Yes, expression expected. So, and then you can just do something like this. Okay. Let me open some Drupal project and show you if there are some. Okay. So if I just this is the bracket of that initial small bracket, okay, and then the normal function but without the name, normal function without the name, just like anonymous function. So this is the function, and then that's it. So whatever you place it here, then it is called with these. So this is going to be, these are the parameters and these are the arguments. So let me just explain how it does it. So why Drupal does it? There can be hundreds of such JavaScript files. So if anything, any variable is defined somewhere here, for example here, it won't clash because of scopes with any other such functions. They will have their own scope. Got it? So immediately invoked functions are, I will just go back to So I just need to these two brackets are very important, okay, these two. So here you will define a function just like anything but without a name.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this and then this, just like normal functions. Normal anonymous, you can call it anonymous function here. It has no name. Once a function has no name, it means anonymous. So that's the first part. So for example, we are going to save to sum two numbers, just like we used it previously in our lecture. So a and b, these are going to be the parameters,
Yes, sir.
a and b, right? So it means this function will be passed two parameters, a and b,
Yes, sir.
and we will return or console.log a plus b. That's it. Okay, so this function has two parameters, and we are console.logging these two, the sum of these two. Now as it is known as immediately invoked functions, like this function won't be called, it will automatically get called. So for that reason here we have, like this is the function, you can call it like this is the function. Okay, so you are immediately calling it here because of these two variables. So once you are calling a function, what do? You pass arguments to it, right? So it means a and b are the parameters, so it means you will have to pass two things here,
Yes, sir.
right? So for example 5 and 6. Is this fine?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm not going to call this function because this is immediately invoked. It will run itself automatically,
Yes, sir.
right?
Run at the same time.
And if I just go to the browser, where is it?
Searching in the same.
If you go to console, so this is the sum.
Yes.
Got it? I haven't called the function, but it automatically has run itself. Got it? So let us repeat how we did it. Let us do it again. This, if for example, if I ask you to change Janabais to immediately invoked function, so let us do it again. So firstly, the way I do it is, and I talked to you about mental models, so that's how I have made my mental model about it. I will always write two parentheses like this, right? Then in the first one I will write the function but without a name.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so for example whatever it is, and it will have, sorry, it will have one name, so full name, right?
Yes, sir.
And then the normal function brackets like this. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so full name is the parameter, right? So here I will just console.log and it's going to be Janab, and then plus full name. That's it. And now one thing is left. What is that? Exactly here. So for example Javed, that's it. So now what do you expect? We will be Janab Javed without running it. Okay, here we were running this function. For example, this is that running, but here we won't be running it, and this is for encapsulating your code logics into chunks, right? So this is what Drupal does, that's why I had to teach you. So if I just check it in the browser, Janab undefined, Janab undefined, full name. Is there any typo? Function Why is it not working? Let us close the alert for now. It's a teasing one. Maybe alert was causing something. Okay, so that's why people normally use console.log and not alerts, because alerts are annoying and they always, you will have to okay it before proceeding with the rest of the project, code. Okay, so this is this clear now? Now since we have studied what functions are, now let us go to what methods are. Okay, so methods are functions inside the object. Okay, so for example, I create a
Methods are functions
Function inside the object.
inside the object. Right now everything is global here. Okay, so let us create two new files, objects dot html and objects dot js. Sorry, I am creating folders because of this new. Let me delete it. New file, so objects dot html and objects dot js. So what next? We'll quickly add it to html. And we will have one session on the location of script tag as well, okay, as we move along in this course. But right now we will add it to the bottom of the body. So script src equals objects dot js, and that's it. Okay, we will create an object, for example, yeah, that is create an object, call it student. So const student is equal to, what's the literal syntax for creating objects? Curly brackets, that's it. Okay, so the name is first name, is Muhammad, then the comma, okay, then the last name Khan, language is, for example, Pashto, and now we are going to create a function which will return the full name of the student. So what it is going to be? Muhammad and Khan, right? So we will create a full name which is going to be a function like this and this and this, that's it. Okay, so full name is going to be a function which will have two arguments into it, parameters. So first name, okay, first and last. I am intentionally using these first and last because new students will always get confused with, if I just pass first name and last name here, they will be just assuming as if I am passing those two values, but that's not the case actually. So rather right now I'm not going to use any thing like this. Okay, so full name is going to be a function and it will return first name and last name. Okay, so what's the name of the object? Student. So how to access a property? Student dot first name plus
last name
student
dot last name
dot last name. Is this fine? These two won't have space if you remember. Why? Because the first name doesn't have any space here, so we can make some space here. Okay, now this is just an object. Object means a template, you can say. Okay, so or some collection of variables and functions. So this is normal function, just like we defined functions here. This is a function, but since it is inside this object, this is called method. All the principles of variable passing and everything is applied here as well. But since this is inside the object, we call it method. Okay. Now we need to, or we can use console.log for now. Console.log this and this. This is fine. So if I have to access last name, for just last name, what I will do, I will call student dot last name, but we need to do something with it, so let us alert it or call it alert student dot last name. This is fine. So what it will do is this is another file, we need to open it in the browser. So Khan is being output, is fine. Similarly, if I need to alert language, so it will be Pashto.
Yes.
If I alert first name, it will be this. But now, right now, I need to call full name, the function. So student dot full name. Now what it will do is, it will
return all the objects, all the functions.
okay. What, anybody? Why is there alert of the whole function actually? This is your quiz. If I zoom it in, can I zoom it? It's just showing me the code, not, it is not running the function.
Yes.
So what should I do, Shavas? What's the problem with the code here? We are just
Functions is defined outside.
Anybody, Shabas? How is a function called? We define a function. Here we define a function and then we call it. Okay. So calling means the name of the function and then small brackets. We are not using the small brackets, the parentheses actually. So that's the problem. We need this. It will now run it. That was just the name of the function, the definition of the function. So it was returning the definition of the function. But right now we need to run the function, calling the function. So calling method is just like functions. You will have to use two parentheses. And then
So it is a variable, that full name is a variable, it's not a function that we are using a small parenthesis with it.
no, let me just hide the alert. So student dot full name. What it does is console log student dot first name and student dot last name. Okay. So if I go to console.log, Muhammad Khan. Got it? It is, let us just like calling normal functions, you can call methods like this. The name of the object, student, and then the function name or the method name. So just like normal functions, you need to call a function, right? We were not calling the function previously. That's why we were just getting the definition. And the name of the object is student, and the function and the method name is full name, right? I hope this is not very confusing. If it is, let me just revise it.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay, so we are creating a student object, right? It has normal variables, and the variables actually inside the objects are called properties. Okay, so these are properties, just like variables, but they are and we are not using equal to sign. Colon is used. Similarly, this one is, even VS Code shows you that it is a different color, means this is something else. So full name is a function now, not a normal variable. Okay, so just like normal functions, you can create a function like this, and then whatever you need to do, you can do it here. So what it does is, it console.logs student.firstname. So this is the name of the object is student and first name, right? Last name, language, whatever. So the student.firstname and student.last name. Okay, now this is just a definition of the function or method. Because it is inside the object, it is a normal function, but it is inside the object, that's why we are calling it method. Now we need to call it. Okay, so student.fullname, that's it.
Sir, we can call the methods with the parentheses.
These one calling methods are always is just like functions. So as we call functions with parentheses, any function is called with parentheses.
Yes, sir.
So that's why similarly we can call methods also. One is definition, one is calling function, running a function or whatever you call it. So now it actually combines first name and last name, and then it consoles.log it.
Can you call it alert?
Yes, we can. So for example, if we just use it alert, it will actually alert the full name. This is Mohammed Khan. Whatever, this is just like normal functions, but inside the object. Normal function, but inside the object. And you can call any object like this, function like this. Okay, so that's it. The next thing is, in the first lecture we use math.round or something like that. Okay, so actually for example, we use math.round, okay, or math.random. Let us do this one, math.random, and this is a method. Okay, and we will console.log it. This is built-in JavaScript object. Let me explain something actually, so that unexpected, this console.log math.random, this is function. Okay, this, and this is the output of that function, math.round, math.random, some random number it gives you. Okay, math.random. So you can take what is math. Math is a built-in JavaScript object. So probably somebody did something in JavaScript inside the language. For example, const math is equal to literal this. Okay, so const math is equal to this object. Now it will have different parameters. It will have different keys or methods. Okay, so for example, somebody wrote random also, which is a function, and it returns something. It returns, for example, some random words. Okay, so if we call it math.random, so actually we are calling this function just like we did full name here.
Yes,
Got it? So we haven't created it, somebody else has created math for us. He has done all the hard work for us. So we just call functions like this. So math.random, math.round, math.whatever. You got it? So similarly, if you have to use your own functionality, you will do the same. You will create an object and then functions and methods. Methods, they are called inside because they are functions inside the object. This is normal variable. So inside the object, what are variables called? Keys also, but this is method. Okay, the function is called methods, and this is known as properties. Okay, properties technically are known as properties. Okay, if I just I will just comment it out. Okay, now I will just type math dot something, and now you can VS Code shows you something. Okay, so math dot, where is this pinkish one is these are methods. Okay, and probably these are properties. So if I just type now, because we have created a student type. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so what is it? Student dot, now
First name, full name, language.
so these are the
Yes.
different properties and functions also. One way of defining a function is in an object, just like this. We can directly call it, use this full name. This is one of the ways we can define methods inside. So just like variables, colon, previously it was this variable name or property name and then the function, but we can skip the function keyword and use full name dot this. Got it? So now if I just student dot, so you can see the color of the method is different here. Purple, it shows this is method and this is just property. You got a difference?
Yes, sir.
Good. So in two ways you can define the exactly. Okay, now this is not the right way. We will change it to console.log again. This is the new object. This is the object which its name is student. Okay.
Sir, object को हम change कर सकते हैं?
You mean alter? Yes, you can redefine stuff. For example, if I change it to student dot last name is Khan, but I change it to Shah. So you can do something like student dot last name is equal to Shah. Now if I hide it, if I call student dot full name again, so what are you going to expect? Muhammad Shah, because we change it. Even after creating an object, you can create extra properties and functions also. So for example, here I student dot district, what? Student dot is equal to Sawabi. So now this is going to be a new property.
Inside the object.
This is just like this. If I call it district colon Sawabi, just like this, but we are doing it after the initial creation of the object. So if I just console.log the student object now, so what are you going to expect? It has first name, last name, language and district also. District initially was not there, but right now it is. Okay, so you can dynamically create objects, keys or properties like this. Similarly, functions. Okay, so what I was going to
It is not the right way that we are looking
yeah,
at.
so this is not the right way to call, maybe the right way, but to make it dynamic, what we can do is student is the name of the object here. Okay, so we can call it this. Got it? Because this is inside this the definition of the object, so we can call this and this.
This function.
This means this object.
Inside
Got
the
it?
object.
Inside the object. This means this keyword, and this is very complex sort of concept. We will have a separate session on it, but right now we are not going to name it this student here. We will make it this dot first name, this dot last name. It means this object. Okay.
Yes, sir. Strict.
And if we and it will be working hopefully the same console.log.
Yes, sir.
We change it, but that's the right way to do it. Okay. Okay, we will go further with objects. I have created a blank document to discuss a few more things. So for example, we have an object KPK, or we can have in KPK we have, what is this called, nested objects, and then we can have districts and then another object, so we can go to any level inside objects, right? But for example, let us create some values and largest city, and which one is this? Karachi. Most beautiful city, which one is this? Right? And then this is also legal, but we normally don't add such keys. So for example, most days polluted days city. So let us do it, make it Lahore. Here we need to give quotations to the key. If somebody something like this has to be used, dash polluted dash city, right? Then for example, there is a city with some number, so for example 420, and this is going to be Darra, or maybe somebody is offended with this, so maybe some XYZ city. This is fine. Okay, so what if we need to access this now and console.log it? So it will be just park cities dot largest city and console.log. This is simple. So do you think we will have Karachi there in the console? We have Karachi there, right? This one. But if we want to access this one, for example, the most polluted city, so we should do most dash polluted dash city, and that's where it won't let us with the dot. So it automatically, VS Code automatically has used the array like square brackets with the quotation marks. So that's where we need to access, if we ever need to access properties of an object which has dashes in it, so you will use square brackets, right? We cannot do something like dot and then this, it will have error most probably. Then similarly we cannot access 420, it again is an error. So what we will do is we will turn it into square brackets and then this XYZ. Is it fine now? Why is it so? Because maybe some data is, some variables are coming from the database or some API or whatever, so you normally don't have any control over that. If you want to check something from API or databases, so most probably then you will have to use square brackets, because you don't have control over the naming variables there. Similarly, for example, outside of the object there is we have something like, for example, let ABC is equal to, and it's exactly the name of the one of the variables, largest city. ABC is equal to largest city. So now I want to access park cities with the largest city, so park cities and with the variable name. So I cannot do .abc because it doesn't exist here, but we have a variable ABC which is largest city, so actually we can access it with the square brackets again and pass it ABC. That's it, because ABC is largest city, so we are accessing this property via this variable. So this is largest city ABC. Got it? It should not be this. Why? What's the difference between this and this? Anybody?
The above one is declared outside the object, that's why.
This means it is going to be some ABC key here, which is not the case. This one means ABC variable, which is this. So we have to use the second one, not the first one. If we had something like ABC colon, then this one would be fine. But here we have this is a variable actually, this one. So one more thing, if the name of the variable is exactly like the property in the object, so for example this is let largest city is equal to largest city, right? And inside the object we have largest city Karachi, for example. So if largest city is equal to Karachi, like this. So we have variable which is largest city and is Karachi, it's outside the object, okay? But if we have to use it then inside the object, we can skip this and we can just use largest city. So this actually means largest city colon variable largest city. So this value is outside the object, which is Karachi. So this is Karachi actually, and it is being assigned to largest city. But since both are the same, so we can skip it. We can just use one. So this technically means largest city means the key and value both are the same. So largest city colon whatever it is outside the variable Karachi. Yeah, so we can just put the name of the variable here. It would mean largest city is equal to Karachi, this the one outside. Got it? Okay. Now something about copying variables, copying objects. So let us do first some string variables and then we will come back to objects. So for example, we have variable a which is say cricket, and we create another variable b which is a copy of a, and if we console.log both a and b, it will give us the value of a and b, which both is going to be cricket. Where is ABC? So both are cricket. Now I change B to something else, for example hockey, and I console.log a and b again, so the output is going to be cricket and hockey. So cricket and hockey, this is very natural. So if you have copied a variable and change this value, so its new value is being reflected here. Is this fine? Now let us do the same with objects. So for example, let cities or maybe obj1 is equal to some values. So for example, name is equal to, city is equal to Karachi, or maybe student 1, city is equal to Karachi, and degree is equal to CS. This is fine. Now we create another student exact copy of this one, try to, just like we did here. We created another variable just like a. So here we will create, let student 2 is equal to student 1. So in our mind what this does is, this student 2 is the exact copy of student 1. It's fine. So if we console.log both of them, student 1 and student 2, so we will have exact two similar things. So Karachi and CS and Karachi and CS. Now let us change the city in student 2 to Peshawar. So student 2 dot Peshawar, sorry, small letter, dot, sorry, city is equal to Peshawar. You should be consistent with using these quotations, whether you are used to small single tick quotes or double quotes, whatever. So we will leave it to single quotes for now, just preference. Okay, you can use both together as well. So student 2 dot city is Peshawar. So now we have changed the city in Peshawar, in student 2 to Peshawar, right? So now if we console.log both of these two again, student 2, so we are expecting the first to be Karachi and CS, and the second one to be Peshawar and CS. So it's both Peshawar and CS, Peshawar and CS. What's the problem? It's not the problem. The way JavaScript works is it copies objects and arrays by reference. By reference means they actually are copied by the original allocation to the variable or the reference to the variable. But in case of strings and booleans and numbers, they are copied by value. So this is known as by reference and by value. You can Google about them as well. So whenever you are going to copy objects or arrays, you have to take care of this concept, that any change to the copy will actually change the original
So it's because of the mutable nature
Ex-
of an object.
yeah. So not entirely so, but it actually is because of the way objects are dealt by JavaScript. So then there is a problem, and for example, if we have to entirely create an object, if we have to create a copy, real copy of an object, so what should we do? I mean, it is changing the original source. So, but in case we need to copy something, so let us do that now. In ES6 or the latest versions of JavaScript, there is dot 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 operator. What? Dot 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 operator. So what this does is, for example, we create a student 3. So let or const whatever student 3 is equal to, so I'm going to create a copy of student 1, right? So I won't do something like this. You have seen already it is being passed by reference, and it actually links the original object to the variable. So what we will do is, just like any literal string, this will do dot dot dot, and it is also known as spread operator. Okay, spread operator. So student 3 this, and what it will be, student 1. So it actually spreads or open that object and moves it inside this new one. That's it. So student 3 is equal to object literals and dot 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 student 1. Got it? So now if we console.log student 1 and student 3, they both will be the same because they are copied.
Click it in console.
Peshawar CS, both of them are the same. Also, if you have more than one console in a document, then it will let you know on which line this is being output. Okay, so this 30 is the relevant one right now, line 31. Okay, now I change student 3 dot city to this, and console.log both of them again. Now you can see the second student 3 object has Dubai in it, and Peshawar is in its own position. So now if in case you need to copy an exact make a copy of the object, and then you can later on change it as well without affecting the source one, then you have to use the spread operator. Okay, and there is another one also, another way also, which is object. Okay, now you have studied objects also. So object is object is some code inside JavaScript which is object. Okay, so object dot, I think it's assigned, and then it lets you know the target and then the source. So it's an empty object to be, and then the source is student 1. This one is a bit difficult one to use, so you can always use dot dot, it's easier. So object dot assign will, it's an empty object. Maybe there is an existing object as well where you want to copy something into, but this is an empty object and you want to copy student 1 into it. That's it. So both of them are the same. If you want, you can use this one, but we will use in our code, and in future if you are into React JS and all these modern frameworks, they always use this dot dot spread operator. So we will stick with spread operators. And when are objects used? When the order is not very important. Okay, when the order of the elements is not very important, because internally, if for example in this object largest city, most these seem to be in order, but internally JavaScript doesn't care what the order of largest city is. It's 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. So we are if you are not concerned with the order, you can use objects. If you are concerned with the exact order of elements, so what you will do is we will use arrays, and we will start a new document, arrays. Okay, so arrays are basically it's a sort of data structure in JavaScript and any other, all, even in PHP there is an extensive use of arrays as well. So if you need to access any particular piece of code data in your with some parameters, with some indexes, array is the best thing to use. So for example, we will create an array, let cities is equal to, and this is the array literal syntax, just the square brackets and that's it. So city is equal to Karachi, now for example, if you array always starts with 0 index, so Karachi is on the 0, this one 1, 2 and 3. And what is the length of an array? All the items inside an array, so the length of array is 4, so length is 4. And this is a bit confusing initially at start, but it starts with 0, so the indexes will, the last index will be 3, so -1. The length is always greater by 1 than the last index. Okay, so for example, I want to access Lahore. What I will do, console.log cities and then square bracket and 1, because arrays start with 0, so 0 is Karachi, 1 is Lahore. So Lahore. Then if I need to access Karachi, so it will be 0. And if I want to know what the length of the cities is, so dot length is 4. Okay, if I want to print all of these, let us go to that when we are using loops. Okay, so after arrays we'll be using loops. For now it's fine. Okay, if we there are two terms, mutation in programming. So mutation means changing the original variable. For example, if I do something with this array, if this gets changed, it means this array has been mutated. But generally these days in functional programming in JavaScript, it is not advised to change the original variable. So what we can do is we can use non-mutated methods so that it doesn't get mutated. Mutated means the source variable should not change. So there are certain functions which will mutate the original data and which won't mutate the original data. For example, if I need to reverse the order of this, so cities dot reverse, this is a method. Okay, I'm not going to assign it to any variable, but I have just run dot reverse against it, and I just console.log cities. So what do you expect? New York, London, Lahore and Karachi. So my question is, this dot reverse has changed the array, original array. So is this a mutation method or non-mutated method? Mutation, because it has changed the original. It has changed the original array. Because even if I have to use the cities again and again in this program, it will be in a reverse order, because the original one has been changed. So if you need to do something like this, where you need to reverse it as well as you keep the original array intact. So what you can do? Any guesses?
We will use a map method.
Okay, so again that spread operator is very powerful. So for example, I need to reverse this array, but I want to keep the original one intact. So I will create another variable, cities copy reversed. Is equal to, and just like in objects we use the spread operator, here we will use square brackets and the 3 dots and then the original array cities. That's it. So what this will do, it will spread the cities. Spread means it will open all the elements of it, the array. For example, it will open it, and within the brackets it will contain it again, meaning it will be turned into an array again, and that is being assigned to this variable. And if I write, because this is now an array, the output of this code is an array, so we can use dot reverse here as well, like this. So now if I will remove this code or comment it out. So cities copy reversed and cities copy reversed. Okay, so both of them will be now different. The original one will be intact and the other one would have been reversed. Is fine. So this is the pattern you have to use mostly these days in modern JavaScript programming. You have to leave the original one intact and use the copied version so it doesn't get mutated. Okay, if I need to add something to the last of the array, for example another city, so what I can do, I can cities dot push. So push will add another value into the original array, and that is going, for example, now what will be the outcome of cities? It will have Mardan as well. So what is dot push method? Yeah, but it is it a mutation based method or non-mutated? It has changed the original array, so this is mutated method. Okay, similarly we can use push and pop. Now maybe Lahore. See the pop Lahore. So Lahore is now not part of the pop, means moving an element out of the array. pop does the and whenever you are confused about any functionality of JavaScript programming, so where you should go? The pop, just pop. If you don't pass anything into it, will leave one element outside from the last element of the array. Okay. The next thing is splice. So for example, I've
Is it removed from the start or from the end?
end. Let us there are two similar methods called splice and slice. One of them is a mutated method and one of them is not. So let us use both. Which one is which one? So cities dot splice start number and then delete count. So for example, I want to start at 0. If I just use this 0, or maybe if I start at 1, so what is going to be the output of it? Karachi. I started at 1 and the rest of them were deleted. But if I start, for example, at 2 and 3, splice. Even in VS Code, you get notified of the MDN reference, right? So cities dot splice and just hover over it. So you will be removes elements from an array and if necessary inserts new element in their place, returning the deleted elements. So start number and delete count. Karachi and Lahore.
So it starts from the indexing
1, 2.
0, 1, 2.
Let us do it one. If just it starts with 1, so it's Karachi. If it starts with 2, so if it starts with 2, now with 3. So it actually returns the deleted elements, just like here. Removes elements from an array and if necessary inserts new elements in their place. So removes and returns the deleted elements. So 1 means Karachi, 2 means Lahore and
So it starts from, if we put 1 or 2, so it starts from that element and goes toward the last element and deleted all the elements.
yeah.
Toward the
Then but this is again mutated array, okay, mutated function or method. Now we will use slice and this one is the one you will use a lot. The beginning index of the specified portion of the array, if it starts is undefined, then the slice begins at index 0. So for example, I'll comment this one out. Let's start from 1 to 3 and we will console.log. The last one. So it started from 1 and it has gone to Lahore and London. What is being okay, so it's starts with an index. Okay, you can always play with these functions yourself as well. Just by running 2 or 3 times you will get what it does. So it starts with, so for example, cities dot slice 2, it will start from the index position 2 and move to the end of the array. So for example 1 2 0 1 2, so 2 is London, so it starts from London and moves to the end. If for example I just want to remove Lahore, what I will do, it will start with 0 1 and 1. For example, if I 1, it will start with 1 and 1. Let's see if it removes just. It starts with 0 and it moves to 2. So Karachi and Lahore, 0 and 1. But if it start at 1, so it starts at 1, means the index 1 is Lahore and moves to 2. So the second index is London. Up to 2 it will remove it. So it will just remove Lahore then. But it is not changing the original array. So which category does it fall in? For example, if I run the cities again, console.log cities, so the original array is intact. So if I just need something out of an array without changing the original array, I will use slice. But if I need to change the original array as well and extract something out of it, so in that case I will use splice. But again you will use slice a lot. Okay. So it starts at a particular position like this and moves to the another index, and whatever is in the center. If in case I need to move 2 elements from 1 to 3, so it will take Lahore and London out. Okay, for example, I have 2 or 3 arrays which I want to join now. Okay. So for example, you might have seen concatenation, but in arrays one of the ways is, for example, maybe I want to combine Pakistan, UAE and Indian cities. Okay, so let us create 3 variables. Let Pak cities is equal to, these ones are fine, then let Indian cities is equal to okay. So these are 3 cities and I want to make a one giant array from it. What I will do, let, and that is going to be a new new array. So combined array equals this, right? So very easy with the spread operator. Dot 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 park cities, comma, dot 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 Indian cities, comma, dot 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 UAE cities. Is this fine? So all of these are spread and then combined inside a new array, and that's it. So if I console.log combined, it will have all the values. This one is the giant array now. All of these have been combined. Okay, there are times when you need to from text you need to create arrays. Okay, so for example, I have a let comma separated values is equal to is a string, so burgers this is just a text, okay, a piece of text or string. I want to make array from it. I want to make an array from it. So, and these are two confusing functions, I mean join and split. So let us try both. One converts strings into array, another one converts array into strings. Comma separated values dot split. So it actually splits something and then it shows you what string, and so splitter and comma okay. So this, so comma separated values dot split and split by comma, okay, and I will console dot log it. So now you can see burgers, pizzas, wraps and drinks is an array now. They were actually, before this split, they were text, normal strings. Now it has split this string by this comma. So once this encountered, for example, burgers and comma came, so it added this burgers into an first on the first index of the array. Then pizzas, then again comma, so means it was split on this comma actually. If we change it to, for example, something like this, what change we will make to this line of code 21
//
Now it will break it. It will split this text based on this symbol which you pass to the split function. Got it?
Yes.
Similarly, for example, if we have now this giant array, combined array, okay, I want to make it a text, comma separated text. So what I will do, combined array dot join. Now you will use join, not split. So a combined array is an array and we want to join it with some text. Join, so comma, sorry, yes, comma. And if I console.log it, now this is just string. Is this fine? These are two functions you will use in your careers a lot, even in PHP. In PHP, their counterparts are explode and implode. Again, I personally get confused in it, which one is which one. Just like import and export, I'm not sure which one is which. Not this one, but in Urdu, Daramad and Baramad. You just don't know what is Daramad and what is Baramad. Similarly, implode and explode functions, you will get confused about it in PHP, but then you can Google it, okay? So you can change strings to arrays for your purpose and arrays to strings. Now we will move on to loops. Maybe if I am still left with some of the
So we have three methods: may, filter, and reduce.
yeah. We will do that after the loops today. Okay, find index and not the find index but index of. This has been in use a lot in JavaScript. So for example, I want to find the index of Peshawar in Park cities. Okay, so Park cities dot index of is 2. So there are times when you need to know at which index is a particular value. So it's with index of. Now if I want to delete this one or replace it with the whatever, so I can do that. For example, if I have a very long array and I don't know exact position of that, so I will find the position of it with index of, and then I can do it. I can change it or whatever if I need to. So all of these arrays can be manipulated, changed or whatever via loops, and loops is very fundamental to any programming language. So we will shift to loops now. So for example, let us start with the very basic for loop. Or just make it loops dot. Okay. When do we use loop? When we have to repeat some piece of content, some piece of code in the in any language. So in JavaScript also we have loops. For, it starts with for, and these are the, it has three elements to it, for loop. So for example, there is a variable let I is equal to 0, then a condition which it always checks, so I is less than, say, 100, and I plus plus. So this is the starting condition, this is the ending condition, sorry, this is the condition checking, and this is increment or whatever, decrement or anything. So in any iteration you can see, you can for your mental models, for example, something like this is happening, whatever, some random stuff is happening in your code line by line. Okay, this line is executed, then this, then this, then this, and suddenly it encounters for loop. So here it will just loop through it, not go to the next line, it will loop through it. So it has three elements. One is the starting condition, then the checking whether something is it's a condition compulsory to check so that it can stop somewhere, and this is for after every iteration it gets incremented or decremented. So for example, I need to alert all the elements of an array. Let us copy an array from our code, park cities. So park city is equal to this. I want to alert every element of this array. So if I don't have loop, let us not do anything into the loop for now. So what I will do, alert park cities and 0, 1, and remember in your coding careers, if you encounter something like this, always that you are repeating, just like I am doing now, this is not the way out. So you just in your sixth sense you should know that you are going to use loops. And then the last one is multan. This is code repetition. Now this 0, 1, 2, 3, I know all of these, just there are 4 elements, that's why I am doing it. Maybe there are hundreds of elements in an array and don't know the full size of it, and still I will be using these lines of code. So this does it for us, 0, 1, 2, 3, but this is not the feasible way of doing it. This one alerts Karachi, Lahore, this, but loops are for this purpose. So now I will start with I is equal to 0, I is less than 10, and I plus plus. What's the length of this array? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I will change it to 5, for example. Sorry, 4. Starts with 0, that's why I is less than 4 and I plus plus, and I will move this code inside the function, the loop body here, where what I will use here, I. Now let me remove this. With just this one line of code, we are doing the same thing. So Karachi, Lahore, Peshawar, and how was it able? We were able to do it. It started with 0, I is equal to 0, I is less than 4. So first time it checks I is equal to 0, it starts with 0 and checks if I is less than 4. So yes, it is 0, it is less than 4, so it will run this. So the 0 will print the first one, Karachi. Then I plus plus means after first iteration it will increase it by 1. So now I is 1. Okay, let me I is 1. So now I is 1, it is less than 4, yes it is less than 4, so it will come here. These two are checked at the start of an iteration and this one at the end, done at the end. Okay, take it like this. So now I is 1 and it is less than 4, yes less than 4, so it comes and runs this code and increments that value. 1 is this, so now it is become I plus plus. So I plus plus, it was 1, now 2. So I is equal to 2 and I is less than 4, 2 is less than 4, yes, it will print this one. Similarly 3 is less than 4. Similarly when it becomes 4, then it won't print it because this condition then is false. Okay, so let me do console.log so that you can understand what it actually does. Console.log I am running for the I times. What is this called? Concatenation. Plus and my current value is if I change this variable to 4, okay, some variable, so I can assign a variable here, let total is equal to 4, so I can use total here. Is this fine? So I will run total times and my current value is I. Okay, so for I is equal to 0, I is less than total, I plus plus. This is the first one it was run. I am running for the 4 number of, I will be running for 4 times. Okay, I am running for 4 number of times and let us give some space here. So total it will run 4 times, this whole loop will run 4 times. I am running for 4 number of times and my current value is 0. Initially it starts with 0, then the loop enters its value is 1, then 2 and then 3. It is running 4 times, 4 number of times, but each time is value is being changed. Is this clear? So any code, it will have these for loops will have these 3 values. For I is equal to this, I is less than total and I plus plus. Okay, we are going into loops a bit earlier than conditional flow, but let us give do another example. For example, I have let Mars is equal to 23, 45, 23, 26, 67, 87, 45, sorry, 22, 11, 19, 29 and 45, 67. Okay, this is an array 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. So what I want to do is I want to create another array from it where marks are more than 33. What? Where marks are more than 33. So which of these items will go into that array? This one,
Yes, so 45,
67, 87 and 68, these one. But maybe this is visually we are doing it, okay? There are hundreds of values in an array and I want to do it. And maybe if you are making some school management system or whatever and you want to just get the roll numbers of all those students whose marks are more than 33. So again this is something we can do with for loops, and in a bit later we will do it with another types of loops also. So for example, let us create another one for. Now I don't need to calculate any the length of array. For let I can I define I again here? Because i's are block scope. This is known as block, so it is only available in this block, and now if you will have another block, it is totally fine to use that. So I is equal to 0. This is the starting condition. Then the I is less than. So okay, what can we use here so that it runs up to the length of the array? It's marks dot length. Marks dot length. I is less than marks dot length. What does this mean? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. 10 is the array. So less than means it will run up to the 9 because we are starting with 0. So for I is equal to 0, I is less than marks dot length, and in each iteration I will get incremented. Now outside of the for loop, let us create that pass marks is equal to an array, an empty array. Okay, so we need to check each number with 33. If it is greater than it, we will push it to the code, otherwise not. So for example, if I need to just output all the values of this array, what I will do now, Javas console.log, and just the name of the array marks and I. So what it will do, it will print all the values of this marks array. Let us check. So it is printing all the values of this marks array, but we are not going to print it. We want to push those values which are greater than 33. So if marks dot I, marks I means initially marks I will be 0, so marks 0 will be 23. Okay, so if marks is greater than 33, if it is greater than 33, any number of marks index with I, so initially it will be 0, then 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it is greater than 33, now we have learned how to add an element to the end of an array. What's that function? Push. So if marks is greater than 33, pass marks dot push, and what I need to push, Shabas? Marks dot I, marks colon I, yeah. Marks square brackets I, sorry. So for let I is equal to 0, I is less than this. If marks is greater than 33, marks dot push is this, and that's it. Now I will console.log pass marks. So this is pass marks 45, 67, 87, 63, 68. It has moved all those marks which are greater than 33. So if I need to add other values here, for example 12, 88, 99, 120, 45, 234, whatever. So automatically now it will loop through it and add those also. Got it?
Yes.
So let us repeat this. For loop starts with an initial condition, okay, then it goes to the array length less than that, means if an array has 10 elements, so it will, as it starts with 0, it will go to 9, and each time it will increment by 1. Then it checks if any of the values is greater than 33, it adds it to the pass marks function, pushes it into it, and then we are doing this. We should do if else statements first, and then we will come back to other loops also, okay, because we have used if and else but we haven't yet studied it. So let us start with if condition, and this is the most, so it is if, and then here we have a condition and this. So for example, if something is something, then we run this code, else if something is something, here again you can have something is something, so run this code, else this. So this is mostly used, if, else if, and else, okay. Similarly you can have more than one else if, so the last one always will be else.
Something is not something.
Okay, the last one is else, and if, else if, else if, else if. Okay, what is this? This is very interesting.
Condition.
This is condition. So for example, let me give you an example of passing marks. Let passing marks is equal to 33, okay, and students early marks is equal to 45. So what we can do is, for example, I want to alert something on the screen. If the marks are, if passing marks are more than, if the obtained marks, Ali's marks are more than passing marks, he is pass, otherwise he is fail. So if Ali marks are greater than passing marks, so alert Ali is pass. And in now you know CSS, so you can have a green class, for example, and you can add it to some element, class let.add. Otherwise, if he is fail, else. So alert Ali is fail. Okay, so Ali is failed. Why? If Ali marks are passing marks, this is passing marks. So Ali's the ugliest thing with alerts is you will have to OK it so that you can see the next one. So Ali is pass. But if we change the mask to say 32 and refresh it, Ali is failed. Okay. There is a shortcut for this. What is that? It is known as ternary. Yeah. So, for example, I will. One more thing. The outcome of this will be these two. This is condition brackets, you can call them. It will either be true or false. Okay, and on that the decision is made to either run this part of the code or this part of the code. Okay, we can have multiple else if. So for example, if we have grades, let grades this is equal to, let us a another mass if marks are, for example, if marks are between 40 to 50, we will assign C grade, 60 to 70 B grade, and then A grade, something like this. Okay, so we can then have else if. If Ali's marks are greater than range, or we can do it directly here also. Okay, so if Ali marks are greater than 40 and less than 50, so what we can do for AND, we use this, and Ali marks are less than 50, so Ali has got C grade. Don't be so generous. So if Ali marks are greater than 40 and Ali marks are less than 50, so Ali has got C. Now we need to have another condition, so this one is always the last one, the else. So we will have else if. Okay, else if, let us copy this. Ali marks are greater than 50 and less than 60, so we will give him B. And all of the above should be A. Are greater than 60, A grade. Let us make it, and then else. Got it? So now the marks are 32. He's failed. So for example, if we give him 55 what he will get?
Let's see.
B, because it is between 50 and 60. Ali has got B grade. Okay. Okay, as I said, the conditions are here. It will always evaluate to either true or false. Okay, one more thing. In if conditions, if there is and used here, and it means this and this, both of them will be required. Then it will run. Otherwise, it will be false. Similarly, if we use or, so for ors you use these two pipes. Okay, so either if this is true, this won't be run, and this it will be evaluated true. But in ands you will use both side of the and operator will have to be evaluated. And if you need to specify something, so you can use just like in maths, small brackets like this, but we are not going to do that for now. Okay, there are some shortcuts now. So for example, true and false, you know what they are called? Booleans. So the conditions should be a boolean. For example, I can say past, let past is equal to true. By default I have made this variable true, so I can check if past is equal to true. Is this fine? We can check if past is equal to true, then do something, otherwise not, right? Yeah, whatever. For example, authenticated is equal to true, so show him the members area, otherwise non-member, for example, something like this. But there is shortcut to this, and that is we can just specify if past, we can just type past. Okay, this is exactly like is equal to true. We don't need to use this with it. So what does this mean? These are known as truthy and falsy values in JavaScript. Truthy and falsy values. Okay, so if past is equal to true, do something, else do something else. So let us check some truthy and falsy values. If this console.log, this value is truthy, else console.log, this value is falsy. Let us remove all these alerts for now. Okay, if past, so this is value is truthy, otherwise falsy. Okay, so I have a list of truthy and falsy values. For example, I have a variable called let balance is equal to 0. Balance is equal to 0. So if balance, let us check it what it outputs. Okay, zero by default is 0 is a false value in JavaScript. Okay, so I don't need to specify something like this false, for example. If something is 0, JavaScript takes it as a false value. Got it? So if balance console.log this, if I change it to 1 for example, so now this is truthy. Got it? So you don't need to specify is equal to this, you just need to go to if and then the variable name. So either it will be evaluated to either true or false. So if it is 0, it will be evaluated to 0, otherwise it will be to false. Then we have undefined. So for example, balance is undefined, so it's falsy. Undefined also is a falsy value. Okay, so something is undefined, and we already have studied about what undefined is. It will also be falsy. So we can just check if something is undefined and then use it in if statement. It will mean it's falsy. What should be, for example, balance is -20. What it will be? Is it truthy or falsy? Let us check it. It's truthy because it is a value. It's not 0. Okay. Okay, if balance is empty string, if this is empty string, is it truthy or falsy?
So this is falsy because this is undefined. Empty.
It's falsy because it's empty. But if we give some space, it becomes truthy. Just with one space, it becomes truthy. If an array balance is an empty array, what do you think?
Falsy.
Let us check. It's truthy. So empty array or empty objects, both are truthy. Empty array and empty objects are truthy. So for example, if I change it to an object, it will also be truthy. Then if I need to check whether an array is empty or not, what should I do? Shabazz? Because JavaScript takes empty array as truthy, not falsy. But if I need to check whether an array is empty or it's filled, for example, so how can I check it? Shabazz, we have already learned it. What the length of the array does. So we can use
If length is greater than 1,
greater than 0.
greater than 0.
Yeah, so it means that would be, so here what we can do is balance dot length. Length means array, so either it will be 0 or 1 or more than 0. Okay, so we already have, we don't need to specify is greater than this, because by default either it will be 0 or more than 0. Okay, so either it will be truthy or falsy. So now balance dot length is, now what will be it? Shabazz, what will be the output of this?
Falsy.
Falsy, because it is 0 right now. Got it? So in your programming, maybe you use something like this all the time to check whether there are elements in the array or not. Okay, there is a function. Let us quickly do it. Let obj is equal to some object, for example mass 10, and city Karachi. For some reason I need to convert it to array. I need to convert it into array, converting an object into an array. So what we can do is the elements of it. Okay, I need marks and city. I need marks and cities, or maybe something like so for that there is a built-in JavaScript static method on object dot keys. So what object that contains the properties and method. This can be an object that you can create, or an exit document or object. So object dot keys, what obj, and I will assign it to keys array. Object dot keys obj. If I console.log, what are you expecting, Shabas?
An array came in Karachi.
Marks and city. What it does is, this is an object with marks and city keys, right? So it extracts the object's keys into an array.
Yes.
So object dot keys obj, you pass it the object, so it returns only the keys of the object, and it is an array actually. So if you need to check whether an object is empty or not, just like in array we checked array dot length. In if balance is this, and I need to check whether this object is empty. So what I will do, I will use this syntax. So object dot keys obj balance. So what it will give it us the keys in that object. So an array of the keys of that object dot length. Now this is an array, so now we can check it whether it is truthy or falsy. So I will just copy it to this, like this. So if object dot keys balance dot length, it means if it is 0 means this is falsy, otherwise if it is more than 1 0, so it will be truthy. So to check whether objects are empty, you should use this object dot keys balance dot length, and okay, we can have a short form of this if and else. So that is ternary. Let us quickly Google it. Ternary operators in JS. This one. So it's very easy. If you get used to it, you won't be probably using this much then. Yeah. So we are checking for balance. Okay, let us move it again to balance is equal to 0, for example, and if balance console.log this, otherwise this truth is false. So we can type something like this, balance. To check, you will use the variable name balance, then question mark, and then dot colon, sorry, and in between you will write something. So if balance, this means if this is true or false, whatever, so this will run, otherwise this will run. This is else. Okay, so if this is true, balance is true, so we will console.log truthy this, sorry, otherwise we will console.log falsy, like this. So this is just in one line the same if and else. Okay, so if something is true or false, do this, otherwise after colon it will be else. And this both of them are the same. So we are now expecting two sets of falsy and truthy. So for example, if I need to specify two classes to an element, okay, so let class is equal to for example, if you are somebody is passed, okay, I will assign let me create another variable is passed is equal to, by default he will be fail, okay, false. Let is passed is a variable which is false by default. So the class means the CSS class is equal to, I can use this if else, okay, if is pass is equal to pass class is equal to this, otherwise class is equal to this, right? But here we can do is let class is equal to is passed. It means if this is true, so question mark class will be green. Else, for else we use colon red. Let class is equal to what is missing? This actually is the keyword, that's why it was. What will be it outputting right now? Red. And if we change it to true, it's green. So it's in one line you are writing this. Okay, we can go further. You can Google about what conditional abuse in JavaScript. Coercion, ternaries and conditional abuse. You should read out this yourself. It's very informative, but from Westboss. But let me just quickly go through it. So for example, let status is equal to I can easily assign true or false to status. Okay, so for example, if somebody is very rich, his status will be true, otherwise his status will be false. Okay, but I can say something like this: if or maybe we can assign money is equal to, for now, 0. So if money is less than this number of zeros, and that's it. So if money is less than whatever the money is less than this, so what's the status of it will be? false means he doesn't have any status. What is this? Monetary status. Monetary status. Money. Okay, sorry. Maybe 100. If somebody has more than 100 rupees, his status will be monetary status will be true, otherwise false. So money is equal to 0, money is greater
Because
than
money has zero balance, that's all.
yes. Okay, so what we can do is, if in f conditions, if money is this greater than 0, monetary status is equal to true, otherwise false. But with just this one line, money is greater than 100, it will evaluate to either true or false. Money is greater than 100. So money is greater than 100 means, if money is greater than 100, either it will be true or false. So money is right now 0. So what is this? False. And we are saving it inside this variable. We don't need to have explicitly writing if else statement here. Just with one line of code we can use this. If for example I make the money 101 now, so money is now greater than 101, it will be true, so the status will be true. Got it? So you will see this type of statements a lot. Similarly, for example, we can use AND conditions here as well, like this, and another condition, for example, something is less than this, whatever. So both of them need to be evaluated to be true. So just like you can take it as something which you type here inside the if condition.
Yes, sir.
Is all this clear?
Yes.
Should we stop or move on?